Celestial Castaway, the transport vessel, shuddered as it docked with Nebula Institute, the massive space station that orbited the dying red giant known as Helios Prime. Aya clutched his small bag of belongings, the only items he had managed to bring from Earth during the peace exchange program. "Remember why you're here," his escort muttered. "You represent humanity, a rare opportunity. Don't waste it." Aya nodded silently, his dark eyes fixed on the airlock doors. As they hissed open, his 17 years had taught him that words rarely changed fixed minds. The Galactic Consortium had established the exchange as a gesture of inclusion, but everyone knew humans were considered barely evolved primitives among the advanced species. Reception committee consisted of a single official, a tall, slender alien with crystalline features and disapproving eyes. "This is the human specimen?" she asked, not bothering to address Aya directly. "Student," his escort corrected weakly. "Aya Cooper, top of his class on Earth." "How quaint," the official responded. "I am Administrator Arya. I will show you to your quarters. Follow." The corridors of Nebula Institute stretched before him like arteries of some vast organism. Students of various species moved with purpose, their conversations falling silent as Aya passed. Some stared openly. Others whispered behind appendages. The humans had only joined galactic society 3 decades ago after the consortium discovered Earth during a routine survey. The late arrival of humans to the cosmic stage had relegated them to curiosity status at best. Servant class at worst, his quarters were predictably Spartan. A small pod adjacent to the maintenance section. "Classes begin tomorrow." Arya stated. "Your schedule has been uploaded to your neural interface." "Oh wait." She paused with mock realization. "Your species doesn't have neural interfaces. You'll find a primitive datapad on the desk. Report to Laboratory 7. At first, Bell left alone. Aya sat on the edge of his bed and stared out the small viewport at the massive red star that dominated the view. The dying giant pulsed with ancient energy, its outer layers already shedding into space in spectacular crimson tendrils like the star. He felt out of place, a dying breed in a universe that had moved beyond him. "You're the human, aren't you?" The voice startled him. A purple-skinned alien stood in his doorway. Her large eyes were luminous with silver flecks, and delicate patterns traced along her face and exposed arms. She wore the blue insignia of the research division. "I'm Aya," he replied. Standing awkwardly, Sarah, she said simply, "I'm in xenobiology. I've never studied a human before. Not a specimen," Aya said with unexpected firmness. Her expression shifted to something resembling embarrassment. "Of course not. I just meant I'm sorry that came out wrong." She stepped into the room. "The others here, I don't understand what it means to be different, but I do for the first time since arriving." Aya felt something other than dread. "Why are you being nice to me?" Sarah's lips curved into a subtle smile. "Because the universe is vast and wonderful, and yet most beings only ever see what they expect to see. I prefer to look deeper." She nodded toward his window. "Beautiful, isn't it? Helios Prime, she's dying, but even in death, she creates something new. The elements forged in her heart will seed 1,000 new worlds someday." Aya looked at the star with new eyes. "Like a phoenix." "What's a phoenix?" "An Earth legend. A bird that dies in flames and is reborn from its own ashes." Sarah's eyes widened with interest. "I'd like to hear more Earth legends sometime." She moved toward the door. "Laboratory 7 tomorrow. That's my lab. Don't let Administrator Arya intimidate you. She treats everyone that way." She paused. The truly brilliant ones always make others uncomfortable. Aya remembered that after she left, Aya turned back to the viewport, watching the dying star pulse with ancient light. Perhaps there was more to this place than he had first thought. Perhaps, like Helios Prime, something unexpected could emerge from what seemed like certain doom. The ancient vessel, the first week at Nebula Institute, passed in a blur of academic challenges and social isolation. Aya found himself gravitating to Laboratory 7, where Sarah's presence provided the only respite from the constant reminder of his outsider status. Her curiosity about Earth was genuine. "Unlike the clinical detachment of the other researchers, you're actually quite advanced for a species without psychic abilities," Sarah remarked one evening as they worked late in the lab. "Your capacity for abstract thinking is remarkable." Aya smiled wryly. Is that a compliment or a scientific observation? Both, she replied, her purple skin catching the blue light of the holographic display, Dr. Chen. Wants me to present my findings on human cognitive patterns next week? He's particularly interested in how your species developed space travel without collective consciousness. Dr. Chen, the institute director? He knows about me? Sarah's expression grew serious. Everyone knows about you. Aya, you're the only human at the most prestigious research facility in the quadrant. She hesitated, and Dr. Chen has specific interests in human potential? Their conversation was interrupted by a low rumble that shook the laboratory equipment, another stellar fluctuation. Sarah explained Helios Prime is becoming more unstable. Each pulse disrupts our lower levels. Lower levels? Aya asked. I thought the maintenance section was the bottom floor. Sarah's luminous eyes shifted away. There's a restricted section beneath us. The archive, it houses artifacts deemed too dangerous or significant for general access. She lowered her voice, including a starship older than the consortium itself that night. Aya couldn't sleep. The thought of an ancient vessel hidden beneath their feet pulled at him like a gravitational force after the third bell. When most of the Institute had entered rest cycle, he slipped from his quarters. The access codes he had memorized from Sarah's workstation unlocked the maintenance tunnels that spiraled downward. The archive was sealed behind a massive door with warning glyphs in 17 different languages. Aya's hand hovered over the biometric panel. Something told him he shouldn't be able to open this door, and yet some deeper instinct told him he must. He pressed his palm against the cold surface. To his shock, the door slid open. Silently, the cavernous chamber beyond was dimly lit by emergency lighting, revealing rows of sealed containers and strange artifacts, but dominating the center was a sleek vessel, unlike any Aya had seen before. Not the bulky utilitarian designs of Earth ships, nor the organic curves of consortium craft. This was something altogether different, elegant, dangerous, and unmistakably powerful. The Equinox, he whispered, though he couldn't explain how he knew its name, as if responding to his voice. A faint blue light traced along the ship's hull. Aya approached slowly, drawn by an inexplicable familiarity. When he reached the vessel's side, his fingers traced the strange symbols etched into its surface. It's beautiful, he breathed. And completely dormant for over 8,000 years, Sarah's voice came from behind him. Aya spun around. Startled Sarah. I can explain. No need, she stepped forward, her expression unreadable in the dim light. I've been studying this ship for 3 years. It's never responded to anyone. Not to our most powerful telepaths, not to our technology, nothing. She gestured to the glowing hull. Until you, I don't understand. Neither do I, she admitted. The Equinox was created by the ancients, a civilization that vanished millennia ago. Their technology has been impossible to replicate. The ship is believed to be sentient, but no one has been able to awaken it. Her eyes locked with his. Place your hand on the main access panel. Hesitantly, Aya approached the indicated section of hull. A flat, crystalline surface glowed faintly as his palm made contact. The ship surged to life. Brilliant light cascaded through previously invisible seams. Energy thrummed through the vessel's body and into Aya's images flooded his mind. Stars being born and dying, civilizations rising and falling, a terrible war that scorched 1,000 worlds, and through it all, 2 figures, one human, one alien, standing against the darkness. Aya. Sarah's alarmed voice pulled him back to reality. He found himself kneeling, her arms supporting him. What happened? What did you see? Everything, he whispered. It showed me everything. And Sarah? Oh. He looked up at her with wonder. It knows me. It's been waiting. The ship's main hatch slid open with a soft hiss, inviting them inside. This is impossible, Sarah breathed. No one has ever,
Axon.
Suddenly blared throughout the archive's security breach. A mechanical voice announced, unauthorized activation detected. Containment protocols engaged. Sarah pulled Aya to his feet. We have to go now. They'll shut everything down. But the ship will be here tomorrow, she assured him. But if they find you here, you'll never see it again. As they fled through the maintenance tunnels, Aya could still feel the Equinox's presence in his mind, like a new constellation forming a destiny awakening, and somehow, Aya knew that Sarah was part of it too. Fractured stars. You accessed a level. Okay, Omega restricted artifact without authorization. Dr. Chen's voice was cold as the vacuum of space. Do you have any concept of what you've done? Aya stood rigidly in the center of the director's office. Acutely aware of the security drones hovering at the periphery of his vision, Sarah stood beside him. Her posture equally tense. It wasn't his fault, she interjected. I brought him there as part of my research on human cognitive response to ancient technology. Dr. Chen's four eyes narrowed, the inner set focusing on Sarah, while the outer pair remained fixed on IAA. A convenient explanation. Researcher Sarah, but the security logs show. Entering the archive 23 minutes before you arrived. He tapped a slender finger against his desk. More importantly, the artifact responded to him. A human, an impossibility that demands explanation. Aya swallowed hard. I can't explain it, sir. The ship that Equinox it felt familiar somehow. Like it was calling to me, calling to you. Dr. Chen's tone shifted from accusatory to intensely curious. Describe the sensation precisely. Sarah shot Aya a warning glance. But he continued, it was like remembering something I'd forgotten. A connection that was always there. Just dormant. Dr. Chen leaned forward. And what did you see when you touched it? Nothing, Aya lied, remembering the flood of images. The history of a forgotten war. The strange bond between a human, an alien from millennia past, just lights and sounds. The director studied him for a long moment. Before turning to Sarah, your expertise in xenobiology makes you uniquely qualified to study this phenomenon. Prepare Aya for a full neural scan. We need to understand why the Equinox responded to him. A neural scan. Sarah's voice rose slightly. That's extremely invasive for humans. Their neural architecture isn't designed for our scanning technology. It could cause permanent damage, a regrettable but necessary risk. Dr. Chen replied dismissively. The technology contained within the Equinox could elevate the consortium's position in the galactic order. This is bigger than one human specimen. Student Aya corrected quietly. I'm a student, not a specimen. Dr. Chen's expression hardened. You are whatever I deem you to be. He pressed a button on his desk. Security will escort you both to Medical Bay 3. The procedure will begin immediately as they were led through the corridors. Sarah whispered urgently. We need to leave. The neural scan is just the beginning. Once they understand your connection to the ship, they'll dissect your brain tissue by tissue leave. How? The entire station is locked down after what happened. Trust me, she murmured, as they approached Medical Bay 3 when I create a diversion. Run to maintenance shaft for 2B. It leads directly to the lower hangars. Before Aya could respond, Sarah suddenly collapsed, her body convulsing violently. The security drones immediately surrounded her. Medical protocols overriding their escort directives help. Aya shouted convincingly, she's having some kind of seizure. In the ensuing chaos, he backed away slowly, then turned and ran the station's winding corridors blurred around him as alarms began to sound. He found maintenance shaft 4B and descended quickly. His heart hammering against his ribs. Had Sarah's distraction worked? Would she find him? Or had he just abandoned his only ally? The lower hangar was dimly lit and filled with service vessels and cargo shuttles. Aya ducked behind a fuel container, trying to formulate a plan when a hand touched his shoulder. He nearly cried out before recognizing Sarah. How did you? Xenovascular control, she explained breathlessly. My species can temporarily shut down circulation to create the appearance of seizure. The medical drones are still trying to diagnose a condition that doesn't exist. Her expression grew serious. But we don't have much time, Doctor. Chen isn't just the institute director, he's military intelligence. They've been searching for a way to activate the Equinox for decades. Why? What makes it so special? It's not just a ship, Aya. It's the last remnant of a civilization that achieved what the consortium considers impossible: true symbiosis between technology and consciousness. The ancients didn't build the Equinox. They grew it, and if the military gains control of it, they'd have a weapon unlike anything in the galaxy. Aya finished. Sarah nodded grimly. We need to get back to the archive. The Equinox awakened for you. It might help us escape. That's insane. The entire facility is locked down. Not entirely. Sarah smiled mysteriously. The stellar fluctuations from Helios Prime have been growing stronger. Each pulse temporarily disrupts the security grid. The next major pulse is due in 12 minutes. We'll have approximately 40 seconds to reach the archive. The hangar suddenly flooded with light as the main door slid open. Commander Rena, head of station security, entered flanked by a full squadron of armed drones. There they are. She shouted, "Capture the human alive. The Zalari is expendable." Sarah grabbed Aya's hand. "Change of plans, we run now." They sprinted across the hangar floor as energy pulses sizzled past them. A maintenance hatch provided temporary cover as they squeezed into a narrow service tunnel. "The pulse is coming," Sarah whispered when it hits. "Every system will reset briefly. That's our window." Aya felt it before he saw it, a wave of energy washing through the station. As Helios Prime released another dying breath, lights flickered and died. The persistent hum of the station's systems fell silent now. Sarah urged, pulling him forward the archive the ship. "It's our only chance." Hand in hand, they ran through darkened corridors toward a destiny neither fully understood, but both somehow knew was meant to be. Cosmic harmony, the archive doors stood open as emergency systems failed throughout the station. Aya and Sarah raced inside, finding the Equinox pulsing with energy, as if anticipating their arrival. It's fully awakened. Sarah breathed in wonder. The security lockdown must have triggered its defense protocols. Aya approached the ship, placing his palm against the hull of the access. Hatch opened immediately. "It wants us inside," he said, with absolute certainty. They entered the vessel as distant alarms signaled the restoration of station power. The ship's interior was unlike anything. Either had seen organic curves melded with crystalline technology, surfaces that responded to thought rather than touch. A central chamber housed what appeared to be navigation controls. "We don't even know if it can fly." Sarah said it's been dormant for millennia, as if in response. The ship hummed to life. Holographic displays materialized around them, showing the station, Helios Prime, and potential flight paths. "I think it's waiting for instructions," Aya said, hesitantly placing his hands on what seemed to be the pilot's interface. The connection was immediate and overwhelming, the ship's consciousness merging with his own. Sarah gasped as the walls around them became transparent, revealing the stars beyond the Equinox moved without conventional propulsion, simply phasing through the station's hangar doors as if they were mist. "That's impossible," Sarah exclaimed as they accelerated away from the station. "No technology can phase matter like that." Aya could barely respond, overwhelmed by the ship's presence in his mind. "It's not technology as we understand it. The ship is alive, and it's showing me something." The vessel carried them into the corona of Helios Prime itself, where no conventional ship could survive. Energy from the dying star flowed into the Equinox, rejuvenating ancient systems. "It's feeding on the stellar energy," Sarah realized. Moving closer to Aya, her proximity sent a new wave of response through the ship, the cabin filled with a soft bioluminescence, creating an intimate space around them. "The ship responds to emotions," Aya whispered. "It's creating environments based on what we feel." Sarah's fingers intertwined with his. "And what do we feel, Aya?" "Hope, connection." His eyes met hers, something I never expected to find so far from Earth. As their lips met, the ship's interior transformed into a garden of light crystalline structures that captured and reflected their emotions. The Equinox sang with energy as it completed its HSC regeneration cycle. "It's showing us its purpose," Sarah said softly. "It was never meant to be a weapon. It's a vessel of connection bridging species, civilizations, hearts just like us," Aya replied, holding her close as stars streaked past. "We should be enemies according to history, but here we are." But their moment of peace was short-lived as the ship's sensors detected pursuit craft launched from Nebula Institute. "Commander," Rena's voice crackled through the communication. "System, return the vessel immediately, or we will open fire. This technology belongs to the consortium." Sarah looked at Aya with determination. "They'll never understand what the Equinox truly is." "What we've discovered then we'll have to show them," he replied. "A plan forming the ship chose both of us for a reason. It's time to complete the connection." Galactic rebirth. The pursuit ships surrounded the Equinox, Weapons locked and charging, Aya and Sarah stood at the heart of the ancient vessel. Their hands joined over the central console. "Are you sure about this?" Sarah asked if we were wrong. "We're not," Aya replied with certainty. "The Equinox has been waiting for this moment for us." The final memory it showed Mitt needs both human intuition and Zelari telepathy to fulfill its purpose. They turned the ship back toward Nebula Institute. Much to the confusion of their pursuer's commander, Rena's voice came through again. "Surrender immediately and exit the vessel with hands visible." Instead of complying, Aya opened a broadcast channel to the entire station. "Dr. Chen, this ship was never meant to be a weapon. It was created as a bridge between civilizations. It's a symbol of what's possible when species work together instead of dominating each other." "Naive sentiment," Dr. Chen replied coldly. "Dock immediately or be destroyed." Sarah joined the broadcast. "The ancients didn't disappear. They evolved, coming one with their technology and with each other. The Equinox is the key to that transformation, and it chose a human and a Zelari to demonstrate why." As they approached the station, Aya and Sarah placed their palms on the central crystal. The Equinox responded by emitting a pulse of energy that washed through the station, temporarily linking all minds aboard human, Zelari, and every other species for a brief moment. Every being experienced the perspective of all others. Dr. Chen felt Aya's isolation and determination. Commander Rena understood Sarah's hope for unity. The entire station glimpsed the ancients' vision, not domination through technology, but transcendence through connection. When the pulse faded, the pursuit ships had powered down their weapons. The station's hangar doors opened in welcome. "They understand now," Aya said softly. Sarah smiled. "Not completely, but it's a beginning." They docked at Nebula Institute, where Dr. Chen himself waited. His expression transformed. "The consortium has existed for 10,000 years, believing advancement came through power," he said quietly in seconds. "You showed us another path, not us," Sarah corrected the Equinox. What it represents, the potential when different species truly connect." The ship would remain at Nebula Institute, not as a weapon or relic, but as the first of a new class of vessels bridges. They would be called ships designed to foster understanding between worlds. In the months that followed, Aya and Sarah became the first official pilots of this new fleet. Their mission, to seek out other ancient vessels and awaken them with the same unified touch. As they prepared for their first official mission, Aya found Sarah on the observation deck, watching Helios Prime's swirling surface, having second thoughts. He asked, joining her at the viewport. She took his hand, her purple skin contrasting with his. "About us. Never about changing the course of galactic history?" She smiled. "Perhaps a few. The Phoenix rises," Aya said softly. "Not just Helios Prime creating new worlds from its death, something bigger, something we're part of now." The Equinox waited below, humming with anticipation for the journey ahead. As they turned to leave, the dying star flared brilliantly, not in destruction, but in transformation, a new light born from old darkness. A perfect metaphor for what they had found in each other and what they now offered the galaxy.